relationship as possible with their attachment figures. However, parents who themselves had a difficult childhood and have memories of abuse or neglect may feel angry or even frightened by their infant's demands for care and be unable to respond sensitively and reliably to them.
It's the story of parents desperately trying to succeed at parenting, reaching out for help to therapists, social workers, to young offenders, and finally to you through a dramatic use of cameras installed by us in their homes with their consent. The result is a stark documentary. He is 11, in grade 6, has above-average intelligence and above-average talent for getting into mischief. Foreshadowings of serious problems.
He shoplifted. I'd maybe say for 3 years we've been aware of it.
The boy's name is Evan, but we've all known someone a lot like him. When he was 4, Evan was classified as conduct disordered, a holy terror for his teachers and his parents.
When the memory comes to consciousness, the feelings that are evoked are very powerful. People can find themselves weeping, they can find themselves angry, they can find themselves feeling depressed.
It's a central topic in Mike and Karen's parenting class.
The mother who as a little child, over and over and over again, was in a position that she was made, sort of somebody bigger, stronger, would teach her respect. What she does is she carries with her into her adult years a kind of a promise she makes to herself that she says, when I grow up, nobody's ever going to treat me like that again. So this sort of fury and this sort of intensity comes out where she has to put her kids in their place. She has to teach them respect.
So how do you stop that from happening? Evan, for instance, he feels like he's not allowed. He's being punished for wanting to have fun or this or that because Michael wasn't allowed to. How does he stop that happening to his child? I mean, where does it stop?
My dad and I weren't close, but I was his pet. Like, I resented the fact that I had to work all the time.
How do you relate to, like, Evan's...
I don't. To me, Evan's spoiled. But that's the way the kids are today. Like, he gets whatever he wants, usually. Like, sometimes I can't afford it right away, but he will eventually get what he asks for. The latest is one of them starter jackets. They're $150.
You speak to these parents, they say, we gave them everything. They have nanny, the most beautiful clothes. In most cases, the only thing they didn't give these kids is a little bit of themselves. That's all the kids wanted.
Like, I tell them I love them, but I cannot hug. Or I can hug, like, per se hug, but kiss him goodnight. He's at the age where men don't kiss. I'm that way. I was brought up that way. I remember when I was 8 years old, and I guess it stuck with me. I went to give my dad a goodnight kiss and a hug, and he just pushed me away.
How well loved have you been in your life, Mike?
Hard to say. I know my dad loved me.
How do you know that?
To show it.
How do you know that?
To physically show it, he wasn't that kind of man. When he was dying in the hospital, he crawled to the chapel and laid on the altar and said, I need 6 more years. I love that boy, and he's got to look after the family.
A child will eventually work out an attachment strategy to get as much emotional care as possible by modifying its nurture-seeking behavior to the ability of the parent to give it. However, when the attachment figure is unresponsive because of depression or drugs, or becomes violent and abusive, the child is left with no predictable strategy for eliciting enough comfort to form a predictable and organized relationship.
When we all go shopping, my dad and mom do their own thing and say, you guys stay here, you guys go over there and look at that. Just don't bug us.
What kind of attention do you want?
Positive attention.
What does that mean?
Like good attention, like my mom and dad loving me, being my friend.
And what's your opinion on negative attention?
I'd rather have positive attention than negative attention.
And what about not having any attention?
I don't like that.
So if you have a choice between negative attention and no attention at all, what choice do you make?
Usually negative attention.
That's better than nothing.
When another child was distressed, children with secure histories reacted with concern and compassion with regard to the other child, while other children who had not experienced consistent responsiveness and abiding love reacted in a variety of ways that weren't considered empathic. Other children, in fact, would engage in behaviors to make the distressed child feel even worse. Taunt, tease, call them a crybaby. I remember one occasion where one child said, "Oh, I have a tummy ache," and another child hit her right exactly there with a smile on his face.
The child may enter into an insecure relationship with an attachment figure. Clinical researchers have found it very difficult to intervene and change the course of the child's developing relationship from an insecure attachment to a secure one. The realistic aim is to help the baby form as secure an attachment relationship as the parent can manage. When a child is frustrated in its attempt to gain attention and care from its attachment figure,